This game is one of my all-time favorite games. I love the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind so much. It's such a good game, and I am extremely excited to be playing this one again. I haven't done the playthrough of this one in a while, so really looking forward to getting in here and getting this going. Oh, the soundtrack for this is so good.
They have taken you from the Imperial City's prison, first by carriage and now by boat. To the east, to Morrowind. Fear not, for I am watchful. You have been chosen.
Wake up. We're here. Why are you shaking? Are you okay? Wake up. Stand up. There you go. You were dreaming. What's your name?
Alright, so let's see, we're gonna be playing a Breton, because the way that I like playing this game, there's a couple magical items we can get, and the most effective way to be able to use those items is to be a Breton. So, in the lore of the Elder Scrolls universe, there's a lot of Bretons that have very French-sounding names. So I think probably what we're gonna do is we're gonna give him a kind of a Frenchy type of name. Let's see. All right. I think we're gonna name him Pierre LeBlanc.
Well, not even last night's storm could wake you. I heard them say we've reached Morrowind. I'm sure they'll let us go.
Perfect.
Quiet. Here comes
Oh
the
man,
girl.
I have so many good memories associated with this game. This is one of my all-time favorites. It's just so good. I know the graphics are kind of crappy, and there's a bunch of other things about the game that are kind of crappy, but the experience of playing this one is just something special.
Get yourself up on deck and let's keep this as civil as possible.
The sooner you leave, the sooner we can move on.
You know, I don't think I ever came back here. Oh, I can't talk to her. Okay. Oh, man.
This is where
Big
they want
bug.
you. Head down to the dock and I'll show you to the census office.
Man, they make cool sounds. Ah.
You finally arrived, but our records don't show from where.
All right, yeah, we're gonna be playing the Breton for sure, and I typically like my Bretons to look either this guy or this guy are pretty good. So I'm gonna do a different face than I use. Oh, this guy was my favorite for a long time. I used his face a lot, but I think we're gonna do a different face than I usually pick. We're gonna pick this guy, I think, and I usually do that hair. I think perhaps it's time for something different. Yeah. That's not great, but I'm about it. We'll do that. So the reason why I like the Breton is this bonus right here, because there's a couple magical items we can get that'll make this bonus a lot more potent. And that's a very useful thing for us, because there's one magical item in particular, the Boots of Blinding Speed, that I really want to get. And to really use that the most effectively, we need this racial bonus plus another magical item that gives us 100% immunity to magic. It works very well. And then we can move around a lot faster.
Great. I'm sure you'll fit right in. Follow me up to the office.
One of the
and
things
they'll
that I
finish your
don't like
release.
about this game, and one of the big complaints I've always had about it, is how long it takes to get anywhere. Because there's no fast travel system. You just kind of have to run from place to place, and when you're low level, you run really slowly. So, it's not great.
Yes, we've been expecting you. You'll have to be recorded before you're officially released. There are a few ways we can do this, and the choice is yours.
So, I've had fun going through all these different things, but answering the questions is an interesting way to go because he poses you a bunch of hypotheticals and you answer them. Then he gives you a class based on what answers you pick. I never like going any other way than creating my own custom class because I believe very firmly in power leveling, which I'll have a video on at some point. But the way that I like to do this is my major and minor skills are things I don't use a lot of. So that way I can control when I level up and what I level up, what type of bonuses I can get to my stats and all kinds of stuff like that, which is a pretty big video for another time. But this, the way that I like to do this is having my least used skills as my major and minors. And I'll go through this here real quick. So specialization gives you that +5. They're also easier to increase. So I typically like to do a specialization for things that are magic related because magic is difficult to level in this game. Some of the stealth skills are pretty tricky too, like sneak in particular in Morrowind is hard to level. But in terms of magic, magic is also very frustrating sometimes. So I like to do the magic specialization for my favorite attributes. Strength and endurance are the two that I usually pick. That gives you a bit of a jump start on getting your endurance up, and the reason why you want a high endurance is so that you can have more health gain every time you level up. So the faster you max out your endurance stat, the better off you're going to be as you continue to level through the game. So I think we're gonna name this guy. See, we had his name's Pierre LeBonc, and I usually play like a spell sword type of class. I think Conk and Bonk just has a good ring to it, given he's Pierre LeBonc. I'm not the most imaginative when it comes to names, so I think this is what we'll go with for the time being. So, let's see. So, the minor skills level up a little bit more slowly than major skills do. So typically, I'll put, at least from what I remember, that's how that worked. So typically I'll put the harder to level things in the major skill stat block. So, let's see, I personally prefer a long blade. I think long blades are the bee's knees and stuff really speaks to me. It's good to have a blend of skills with multiple different governing attributes so that it's easier to level. So we got strength, speed, and endurance on the majors. I think probably that's a little unbalanced here. Let's look at, let's see here, magic. Enchant is one I never use because in this game you can lose your soul gem if you fail an enchantment. So I always just pay for enchantments. There's a few master enchanters that are in the game, and it's well worth the money, so you don't have to go back out and try to re-soul trap like grand souls and stuff. Alteration, illusion, there's a bunch of really useful spells in alteration, illusion, destruction, and conjuration. Conjuration, I think, is one of the ones I don't use a lot of, so I'll put that one up here. I typically use destruction, alteration, illusion, and a little bit of mysticism, because the useful thing with mysticism is the soul trap, teleport, and then telekinesis. Those are all really useful. In later games, they pulled some of those things out from the mysticism thing. Like there's a couple of spells that don't exist anymore after Elderscrolls 3. So mysticism becomes less useful in future games, I think. I don't use on armored a lot, so I'll put that one as a minor. Alchemy I use a ton. That's a really good way to make money. I'm almost done here. I'm pretty happy with what this is looking like because we have speed, intelligence, strength, endurance. We've got morale. This is getting a little unbalanced. There's nothing up here for willpower. Though you also don't necessarily want to have one of every type of skill in your major and minors. You want to have a good blend, but you don't need to have one of every type of skill. I think we're represented except for willpower and personality. Oh, and agility's not up there either. Yeah, I think I want to change out athletics to a different ability, but which one? I think I'll put sneak up there because sneak is one of those ones that's really hard to level, so it could be nice to have it here. So, yeah. So the way that, again, to reiterate, the way I like doing it is all this major and minor skills that I have up here are the ones I don't use a lot of, so that I can play how I want to play without having to level up all the time. And I can really have the most control over leveling to make sure that I get the results I want out of the game. So, and don't need a class description for this guy. So just double check in here. It looks, I'm pretty happy with this, I think, because that allows me to use heavy and light armor a lot more. I wear a lot of medium, but the armor skills are one of those ones that don't level very fast, so it's okay to have them in there even if you use them. Armor and enchant I very rarely use. Yeah, I think this is probably a good way to go. Alright.
Very good. The letter that preceded you mentioned you were born under a certain sign. And what would that be?
I can't not have the subtitles on. I have to watch movies with subtitles and everything too, because it can be so hard for me to understand text. It's just, sorry, to understand speech. So the signs between all the various games, they are very similar from what I remember. A lot of these have significant issues with, like drawbacks, like the Atronach. If you play a high elf, that's a really cool one to do because you can have so much magic, but you end up not being able to recharge it over time, and it can be very difficult to recharge it. So you basically have to drink potions in order to restore your magic. And then the fortify ones like these, I mean, we're through the course of play, you can level those up enough that you don't really need to worry about it. I like the mage a lot because you get that extra magic that's relative to your intelligence, and there's no real drawback to that one, other than you might not get some really cool single use or like daily use ability. This one kind of helps with the dice roll mechanics, but once you become high enough level, it doesn't matter either. A lot of these are really only set up to help you when you're low level. Like this one, some of these are useful, but this one, you get better spells than that as you level up. It's not really that hard. You just have to play. In kind of a smart way and pay attention to what you're doing. So I typically go with the mage because I think that's the best one.
Interesting. Now, before I stamp these papers, make sure this information is correct.
All right. Pierre LeBlanc, Breton Conkenbonk. Yeah, cut and cast. Some of the words are hard for me to say, so I won't worry about that. So, starting stats aren't necessarily the greatest. Like the speed stat kind of sucks, or agility stat kind of sucks, but having a good endurance and having a good strength are important. There's some of these other things here. Some of these will take a little while to level up. We'll have a few little issues here and there, but this is kind of your last chance to be able to change some of this stuff. I think maybe there's one other spot where you can, but this is like the place to do it. But I'm happy with the way this turned out.
Show your papers to the captain when you exit to get your release fee.
So here we have some of our information. Okay. There's our release identification. Oops. Cool. So now we have our inventory up here as well, and we're gonna do a fun little trick here, because I learned this a number of years ago for a way that you can gain some cash just out the gate. What you want to do is over here is a limeware platter that's worth a lot of money. And there's a few other things here too that are worth a decent amount of money when you're looking at their value to weight ratio, which I always shoot for a minimum 1-to-1 for me to justify picking something up. Because you only have so much inventory space, so you want to make sure you're efficient. So what will happen here is we're going to grab one of these items, and this guard, is going to start running across to get us. But we have to drop the item after we pick it up, because we're basically scot-free to steal if we want while we're in here. Because we're not released yet, and we're still kind of in our tutorial. So I always like to steal a little bit before I leave, so I can get like a nice little nest egg for the rest of the game. So the complicating factor is he's going to creep ever closer as we do this, so you'll see here in a minute. But what you want to do, you want to grab it, immediately open your inventory, and drop what you just picked up. So it's on the floor. He runs over. See? We'll let your actions go for now, but once you release stuff like that, we'll get you arrested again. And then he walks back to where he came from. And you want to let him get all the way back so you have more time to grab stuff. So you want to do that, and then let's see. These are all pretty low value things. So what we're going to do, we're going to go after these couple high value ones. Take them, drop them. He runs over again. And we're just going to rinse and repeat this until we take all the stuff we want that's of decent value off of this shelf. So when they're on the ground, he won't be able to take them from you, and you can pick them back up right in front of him, and then he's not going to react. Like, you just... See? Nothing. But if he catches you, he's going to take the stuff out of your inventory, and you'll lose it. So you want to be kind of quick with it, and I want to see if maybe I can grab... I never try to grab these things over here, but these books are worth a decent amount of money, so I'm going to try to get them, and we'll see if it works. So we can get that vase. Oh, that's a fast turnaround. Oh man, because he's right there. Ooh, I'm not sure we're going to be able to get this. Ooh. Ooh, I got 2 of them. Oh, I got 2 of them. Alright, yeah, I've never done this before. This is cool. Okay, okay. There's 2 more. So if I put my cursor here... Because when you pick it up and start reading it, he doesn't notice that you grabbed it yet until you hit take. Because you can just read things that are laying around. So if you're fast enough with it... Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I've never been successful in grabbing those before. That is so cool. I'm hyped about that. Alright, let's go. Let's see if there's anything else of value here I might be able to take. I typically don't go for the ones that are like $1 and a pound, or $2 and a pound. Sorry, a gold piece and a pound, or 2 gold pieces and a pound, because it just takes up inventory space, and the time that you spend here isn't necessarily worth grabbing all that extra stuff. Because it's the stuff you have to carry, and it takes a little while, and it kind of delays your game somewhat. But, wow, that is so cool. I'm so glad that I tried to get those books. So now we have a nice little nest egg from this little area. And now if we go through the door... Man, I love the music in this game. The music is just so good. So now that we have the door between us and the guard, we can just take anything we want out of here. I just love the sound effects in this game too. The sound effects are just so fun. Like that sound that made when I picked up that potion. Just so cool. So you absolutely could go try to pick that chest that's out there with the guy we just talked to. You'll get caught and you'll get in trouble for doing it if your skill isn't high enough. And you can just come back later to get that chest too. Like when you're a higher level, you can come back. It's still going to be there. Alright. So it's important while we're here, you want to make sure that you grab the stuff out of this little barrel. Because that Ring of Healing is a little quest item. Alright. Now, I don't know here. I think I've tried to steal stuff from here before, but he catches you really fast. And then you also have to empty your inventory on the floor so he doesn't take the stuff from you. So I found it's easier just to not take his stuff. Alright, so we'll talk to him. Alright. Celis Gravius, background's not important. Welcome to Morrowind. Southwell Corner Club and ask Caius Casades, he'll know where to find him. Serve him as you would serve the Emperor yourself. Alright, 87 gold has been added. And then we don't really get much more information about this stuff. It's mostly telling us where Balmora is, where to find Caius Casades. They give like detailed instructions of where to go, on how to walk there. Alright, so journal is here. And unlike the Xbox version of the game, it's really cool because you can look for specific topics and specific quests that are in your journal. And in the Xbox version, I never could figure out how to do that. Unlike the OG original Xbox version. So that's pretty cool.
If I can help, I will, but don't take too...
Alright, so if we talk to this guy, Fargoth, we can give him that ring that we found. And if we give it to him, he starts to like us a lot more, and then he tells us that he'll talk to his friend Ariel, or Ariel, I'm not really sure how to pronounce his name, who runs the trade house. He's going to be really happy to see us, he'll have a greater disposition, which means we get better deals if we decide to go trade there. So, I typically like to go sell off my first set of things that I picked up from that house, or not that house, but the census building. So if we go in here and we barter with him, you'll notice too that he likes us a lot. But if we go in here, we'll sell him the stuff that's only worth 1 gold piece because he can't offer us, well, I guess he can offer us less than 1 gold piece each. But it's this stuff that's taking up weight, and it doesn't really make sense to sell this stuff to our special merchant we're going to get to in a minute. So there are some more quests that can happen here. I'm not going to get into those at the moment, because what's more important to me is that we start moving up to our special... We find the merchant that we're really interested in, because there's one merchant that's really good. He'll give you full value for everything that you can sell him. He doesn't buy everything, but he'll give you full value for everything you can sell him. The Silt Strider is where we're going to go first, because the merchant that we're looking for is in Caldera, which is a city that's to the north of where we are here. Here's Balmora. Caldera is like up here.
We make a special trip just for you. Same low price.
So we'll talk to this guy. We have 127 gold. We'll go to Balmora for 15. Then once we're in Balmora, what we want to do is we want to go to Caldera from here, because there's a couple different fast travel networks that exist in game. There's a Silt Strider network, and then there is the Caldera network. Sorry, not Caldera network. There's Silt Strider network, and then there is the Mages Guild network. So the Silt Striders can take you to a bunch of different places. Sometimes you have to stop in between. You'll have basically layovers, and you'll have to go from like Balmora to Aldrune to be able to get somewhere else. Sometimes there aren't direct places you can go, but the Mages Guild goes a lot more places, and their network is very extensive, and it's instant teleportation. So you get where you're going really fast, which is cool. So we're now in the Balmora Mages Guild, and we're going to talk to this person right here, and she's going to be able to get us to Caldera.
Did you want something?
So we're going to travel to Caldera,
Go ahead, stranger.
and now we're in the Caldera Mages Guild. And now that we're here, the merchant's outside, but I want to show you guys this real quick, because this is a really good thing to know. Ooh, athletics leveled up. What's important about this room that we're in is up these stairs is a Grandmaster Alchemy set, which is like the highest or sorry, not Grandmaster, I guess. My apologies. A Master's Alchemy set, which is second from the highest quality set of alchemy making tools that you can find. So you can make some extremely good potions with these ingredients, and if you use, with these tools, and if you use all 4 at the same time, you have a much better result than if you use just one. Later in the game, I will be carrying just the mortar and pestle, because then you can make some really good potions on the fly. But if you want to make stuff like super high quality, you need all the different pieces together. So this is where there's a really easy to get master's set of alchemy crafting ingredient, or alchemy crafting tools, which is super easy. Like, as you can see, we're in the game maybe half an hour at this point. So super easy to get to. You can start making stuff almost immediately. When you get to Caldera, our merchant that we're going for is in this building up ahead here. And he's gonna help us a lot. So eventually we're gonna get a couple really useful spells, Mark and Recall, that will allow us to come back here and teleport here. So we only have to travel one direction. That's really useful for some of the high stakes dungeon runs that we're going to be doing. So this is Creeper. He's our guy. He's a friendly scamp who lives here with these orcs. So we want to barter with him, and we want to sell off the stuff that we don't need. So Flynn is pretty useful as a fortified strength potion, so you can carry more stuff, but this early on in the game we want to sell it to him. And he gives full price for everything. It doesn't matter how good your skills are, he gives you full price for everything. So we'll sell the modesty. He does not buy ingredients, and he doesn't buy books either. So we're kind of out of luck on that regard. Oh, he doesn't buy lights. That's interesting. But everything else he'll buy. So we'll sell him all the stuff that we don't want, including that limeware platter that's worth a lot of cash. Look at that. We're already up almost 1,000 gold. Alright, so that takes care of the stuff that we got. I'm going to try to talk him up one more gold piece. He took it, which is awesome. So, now that we're here, in this place it's called, I think, Gorak Manor? Something along those lines. There's another thing here that's very useful for us to have as we adventure. And it is upstairs. What we want to do, we want to come up here, where this guy is. We want to start looking in these crates. And the reason for that is that in these crates, there is almost a full set of orcish armor. And what's really cool about this place is that if you steal from these people, they'll scream about how they're going to report it to the guards, but they don't. So we get free stuff from these guys. And there's a skill book or two in here as well, which I'm not going to grab those because I want to save those for a later level. But we can take their stuff, and you'll notice in here we have no bounty. So free armor right out the gate. And it's pretty good armor too, like it's medium, and it's got a pretty good armor rating. So I am a huge fan of doing that. And there's some other stuff inside their house as well. Yeah, Gorak Manor is the name of this place. There's a few other things that are here, like you could steal his drums, but he talks sometimes about how he likes to play his drums. Booze. Yeah, I just want to bang on my drum. So like I never wanted to steal his stuff, but there's also a potion here you could take that you could resell the creeper. I think one of the funniest things in here is how they're trying to fuel the fire with a really expensive book. It's such an orc thing to do. Oh, it's great. So yeah, that's kind of how I usually that's how I get my runs set up every time I start a new game in Morrowind. Those are the step-by-step things that I do to get ready to start running. Because now we have some cash, we've got some armor. We really could use some weapons, but we're kind of set up from the armor aspect, and weapons aren't going to be that hard to get. We can make do with this dagger. So, yeah, that's how I get set up for my Morrowind runs, and I'm excited to keep pushing this one forward.